What's up, everybody? It's your friend Mark Wahlberg, and we are lighting the bonfire once again. It's Bonfire Talks with me. Thanks for being here. Going to try something new today that was suggested by you, and I want to see how this works for you. And if you dig it, we'll do more. And if not, my feelings will be hurt. But I think that's fair to say. Joining me today, as always, is my friend and producer, Kalen Bean.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
I'm really good, Kalen. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
He just gave me the note not to do the whole podcast staring at him. So I'm going to try to do that. Hey, and I have today, Bonfire Talks podcast has become, basically a institution of great size. So I have the entire Bonfire Talks staff and crew here today. So I have Kalen, and I have Jubilee, who does our social media. So that pretty much is all of us right here, bringing you the Bonfire Talks. A lot to talk about as far as like what's going on with Temptation Island. I don't really want to get into too much of it. I will say this: Brianna and Shantae, Jubilee, Kalen, They broke up last week.
No.
In a loving post that she posted saying, we mutually decided to part ways. Please give us a space, but listen for me to fill in more what's going on in my life and what I've learned. So look, and then all kinds of tea and drama, because that's what people do.
Of course.
Have you seen it, Jubilee?
Yes.
So they can't get any love, these two. And I get it, but let me just say this. Shantae, it looks like she took a step in a direction that most of her fans or haters want her to take. I've been following her on Instagram. She looks like she's doing great. She's teaching Pilates. She's doing all this stuff. I just want to say this. Lest ye judge. Okay? What appeared on, and why we love Temptation Island and other shows is we get to sit on our couch and judge the actions of others. And the actions of others on Temptation Island don't really fit into any sort of theological, sociological thing that seems to work in real life. But let me just say this. Brianna did what Brianna did. Shantae did what she did as far as taking him back. But they're on a journey, okay? As we all are. Kalen is on a journey.
I am.
Yes, it's a dark, twisted path. Jubilee is a young entrepreneur on her way up. So you're on some sort of journey of learning, right?
Yeah.
I've known you since you're 19?
Yeah.
18, 19?
18,
Jubilee
19.
was a PA on Temptation Island, and I kept her. So we've been...
Can't get rid of me.
Can't get rid of her. I'm like... She's got a great dad, but I'm like another dad. Right?
Yes.
Fair to say?
Family affair.
It's family affair. But my point is this. We learn what we learn when we learn it. Me at 25, kind of a mess. Okay? Brian, crazy shit. But he's in therapy, and he's going to be on a path of learning what he's going to learn. Shantae, for whatever reason, did stuff that people weren't down. They thought that she should have left. She's now made a choice for them to get some separate space. But what I'm saying is, let's have a little grace and space, even for the people that seem like over the top, because they're on their journey, and we learn what we learn when we fucking learn it. If we could do it faster, we would do that and be enlightened by the time we're 30. But that's not at all how it works. Okay? There are character traits I have witnessed in myself in this past week that I'm like, dude, you haven't crunched that yet? You've gotten so lazy and so full of yourself that you know everything that you haven't taken the time to kind of open up the book and go, wait a minute. This is like isolation, self-loathing behavior. This is bad self-talk. You talk a good game to other people, but you need to walk the walk. So the point is, Brianna and Shantae are on their journey to learn whatever they want. They have my 100% support. If either of them need my support, I'm there for them. Because we all make mistakes, and we get through this life the way we get through it. There is no quicker route. Okay, that rant is over. Do we feel better about it, Kalen? Do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I didn't even know that I was legitimately shocked that when you told me that they had broken up.
Yeah, she put out a lovely post, and this is my way of saying I wish them both separate and joint journeys of everything great. Because, I say this about the show. It's not something anybody should go on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It rocks worlds. But there's something to be said for getting your world rocked a little bit. Because if it's all comfortable, you just walk around thinking you know everything. And the behavior that's plagued you, this is something I may talk about here today, but the behavior that plagues us repeats. And this is just human nature. This is something I've learned through study and personal, personal review, is that there are certain areas where each of us individually have propensity to be great in, okay? There's no stopper. We don't have anything in the way. We're able to flow. Like some people it's finance. Some people it's, physical, getting in shape. Some people it's a relationship, right? But all of us have blind spots that we aren't great at, and we can't figure out why we keep running into the same wall. Everything's great, but I can't seem to get this cooking, and we can't figure out why it's always in the same quadrant and it repeats. And what I'm going to tell you I've learned is that usually it predates any of our actual thinking, and it's a choice we made when we were very, very little. And the best way I can describe it is this. When we get information when we're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, we don't know how the world works, so we create a logic to enforce what we think we heard. So when we say there's this guy who can visit every child in one night at Christmas, and he's big and fat, but he still comes down the chimney and knows if you're naughty or nice and gives you all the presents. Now, when we're 5 years old, we're like, how can that be? But then we create a reality where that could exist. So there are parts, so let me see if I can land this plane because I think I've gone around my ass here. But so using that analogy, there are things that happen in our lives that we don't understand at 5 and 6, 7 years old, but we create a story of why that is, and it's usually based in what we did to create it, and then we live that story the rest of our lives. I'll give you an example. Stop me if I've given this example before. I'll still do it. Don't stop. I think we know that repetition is one of the things I need to work through. When I was maybe 8 years old, I was staying with my grandparents for some weekend in Columbia, which was an hour and a half from where I lived. And instead of my grandparents or my parents coming to drive me an hour and a half home, some people my parents knew that I'd never seen before drove me home. So thinking back now, I was a little traumatized, a little scared. It was like I'd seen this abduction video in school, and I was like, oh, God, I don't even know who these people are. And so I remember, they were fine, but I remember the whole drive, to kind of cut the tension, I was talking about things that I love, and mostly I was talking about my dog, right? Just talking about my dog. When I get home, my dog this, my dog that. When I got home, my parents were on the driveway waiting for me, which was weird. I was already kind of rocked in I don't know these strangers, and my dog had been hit by a car and died. I'm giving you a moment to feel sorry for me. Okay. I then went into this illogical, logical piecing this together. My child brain said, oh, so if I talk about the things I love or get too high on the things that are great, I'm going to have to experience this, which is crushingly sad. So the logic of my brain was never talk about things you love to other people when you're not with them. And I would soothe myself to sleep by creating all worst case scenarios. My parents getting a divorce, my sister being hurt or dying, another animal dying. I would rehearse these things so that when they happen, I wouldn't be as rocked emotionally. So that's an example of creating a storyline that stays with you until you're an adult that's not serving you. And then you have to look at it and uncrunch it, right? So I don't know why I shared that. I guess I do know why I shared that with you. The point is, when you're finding yourself butting your head against the wall with stuff that you can't understand, it probably is something way deep and a decision you made about yourself that's not true. All right, so That's like the sermon.
Maybe we'll just open every one of these episodes with a sermon from Mark before we get
Except
into
it'll be the same one every time. So here's what I want. And Kaylin and Jubilee, I asked Jubilee at the last minute to come sit in here. She didn't really come to do this. But we had we put out a thing saying, I need a bonfire to you guys, saying if I need a bonfire with me, which again, what you need is to hire professional help. I am a fan of you hiring somebody who's trained in this stuff. But I'm also honored that you think that my opinion might help you. So we got a lot of submissions, which made me feel really good.
If you don't have the money to hire a therapist,
then
at least you can get
you don't
a little.
mind if whatever you're going to learn is half-baked from some game show host, then this is the place to be. So this is an episode called I Need a Bonfire with Me. So we had several submissions, and I'm going to give you kind of rapid-fire take on this with Kaylin and Jubilee piping in. So let's kind of go with the first one.
All right, before we get into it, I just want to say welcome to all the new viewers, subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing. And if you're watching us on YouTube, if you could do us all a great favor and also go to your podcast platform, whether that be Apple or Spotify, wherever it is, and subscribe on there as well. Even if you only watch it on YouTube, it'll help us out a lot. It'll help us bring you all more content, more interviews, more I Need a Bonfire. So if you could do that for us, that would be a great help in getting us going.
I love that you said that because I just finished doing this corporate event with all these people that are older than me and probably don't watch Temptation Island. So what I said to them is, what I'd like you to do is go home, turn on Netflix, turn on Temptation Island. You don't have to watch it, but just let it run for the algorithm. So I think that's what's happening in like dens all over the Midwest right now.
Yeah.
All right, good point. Thank you.
So thank you all for doing that. We're going to get into our first submission right now. This is from Jessica. She says, "Hi, Mark. I need to talk about my boyfriend. He owes me $600 and just can't manage his money. Every time I bring up the fact that he's not paying the bills, he gets really defensive. It always ends the same way. He agrees with me, promises he'll change, and then nothing changes. It's really frustrating." Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing. And it's hard for me to kind of really break this down without knowing more about your relationship. So I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm going to assume that the relationship is working on all of the fronts. You dig him, he digs you. Love and all that stuff is good. Money is tough, isn't it, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a relationship, Jubilee, where, money's an issue?
No, not money, but I do understand money problems in relationships.
And what about Kaylin? What's your take? What were you going to say?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've only ever been in 2 relationships, Mark. And
Am I one of them?
But my second one, the one I'm in now, where I'm engaged to my lovely fiance, when we have 2 kids, yes, money has become a big issue, especially as of late in, how are we going to take care of our kids sort of way.
I think this is bigger than money with you. Jessica, is that right?
Yes, Jessica.
Jessica, I think this is bigger than money. First of all, you're not wrong. That's behavior that's not comfortable. I'm not going to use the word toxic. It's not that big of a deal. But it is a big deal because it's not just about the money. So what it can be about is that your boyfriend feels less than. I don't know how it works in your world. You may be killing it and you've got all the money, you're paying all the bills, and he can't contribute. But the fact that he owes you $600 and every time you ask him, he kind of gets defensive and then still doesn't pay back the $600 is a couple things. One, he may just not have it, and people are often not honest about their struggle. In a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, the cultural predisposition that the man's supposed to be the earner, we're supposed to pay for every date, all this stuff. I don't care how evolved we are, it's still a thing. Okay? Right?
Yeah.
And
especially to the guy too. They're feeling like
even if the girl is chill, the guy feels emasculated if he can't be that dude.
Yes.
Right? And so while I would like to tell you that in this era that everybody does it your own way and just what money you make doesn't really define you, we can't get past that. So I don't think that's a hill you can climb. What I do think is you can have a conversation that's deeper than you owe me money and him getting defensive. Right?
Yeah.
And so it might look like, because I'm going to tell you that the owing you money isn't the root of what's going on with him. What probably is the root is somewhere around, I've never felt worthy. I feel less than. I'm not sure how to hold on to you. I don't deserve you. All of these things that he's not talking about and manifests in this $600. There's also this, when you don't know how to fix it. So I don't have the 600 and she's going to ask me for it. It reminds me of who I was in high school. I was a terrible student. So I wouldn't do my homework. And all I would do is go to class and say, I just got to get through this hour without them asking for homework. And when they ask for homework, it's going to be a horribly embarrassing thing. I'm going to get way defensive about it. I'm just going to be shamed by the whole class because they know I'm not doing my shit. But then the bell will ring and I can go and pretend that's not a thing. So I want to say this to you to give you space for this guy, right? This guy, because I'm on your team, Jessica. I'm not even learning his name. So that if you could take this coaching from me, that it's not about the $600. Because even if you lovingly go to him and say, babe, no rush, but there's this money and I kind of need it back. Can you tell me when you want to do it? How do you want to do it? He's still going to get defensive. So you're not wrong in that he should just pay it and not be defensive. But if we have space, if you can be this woman to give, if he's worth it for you, if you love him at this level, to give him the space to say, what's behind this? And sit down and have a conversation that looks more like, let's forget the 600 for a second. And let's talk about why you feel less than here. And how I want to talk to you about how I feel about you. And I want you to tell me how it makes you feel when I ask you for this, not defend why you don't have it. How it makes you feel when I ask you about this money, why it's triggering you so much. Because if we can get over this money thing, we might be happy together. So, Jubilee, you've watched me do a million bonfires on site. And I'm constantly saying it's not what you say, it's why you said it. It's rarely the front door. It's usually the thing behind it. So, Jessica, I would just invite you to sit him down and go, look, I love you, or I like you, wherever you guys are in this. And let's just put the 600 aside for a moment. And let's talk about why it triggers you so much. And let you, and by the way, it may be for you that if he can't provide and he's not pulling it there, this isn't working for you, and you need to do that too. You can stand in that look, that's not a relationship that's ever going to work for you. You need a man that can, carry his own weight. But if the guy is great, but this is the issue, you can at least say, let's have the conversation about why is this difficult? Why is it coming up here? Why are you defensive? And why haven't you pulled this together so it's not a thing? Not accusatory, but from a loving place of when we don't talk about our problems, it's reversely proportionate to physics. We've got a problem, and the further away from it, the less we talk about it, the bigger it gets instead of the smaller it gets, like in physics. And if we go towards the mountain and talk about it, it's reverse the physics. The problem becomes gone a lot, but definitely smaller. Once you say it out loud, once you dispel the mystery of the shame by saying it out loud, the problem is solvable. As long as you say it out loud, not as a, what's your fucking problem? But as, this is in the way of us having a relationship. I love you. Let's figure this out. Opening up that conversation, and it's intimate and it's vulnerable, and you get to go first, Jessica. You get to be vulnerable and intimate first. See how that works. Or, if it's not working for you, you need to break up. And small claims court for your $600. But I don't think it's about the money. Anything you want to add? Agree, disagree? Wahlberg, you're full of shit. Anything?
Yeah, I think you're pretty on point there, Mark.
Well, I thought you were going to say I'm pretty full of shit, which would have crushed me.
Not this time.
All right, not this time. All right, let's try again. See what we do on the next one.
All right, thank you for your submission, Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica, thanks for reaching out. I hope it helped. And if it did help, why don't you send us another message? And if it didn't help, send us another message, and maybe we can continue the conversation about this. We definitely, and if you want to ever like come on by Zoom, we could talk about that too.
On that note, if any of you want to write into us with your own submissions, you can email us at bonfiretalkspodcast@gmail.com, or you can even send us just a DM on Instagram. Put your age in there so we kind of know what we're dealing with. Try and keep it on the shorter side. We got a couple pretty long submissions on this first episode that I don't think we might be able to get to, but send it to either the email address or Instagram. Put your age in there, keep it short. And you can even do a video. And you can say, hey, you can play the video, but I don't want to be seen. We won't play you. We'll just play your voice. Or you can just write us in, whatever you want. That's how you get on.
And you can say, I'd be happy to come on Zoom. Because for me, if I can talk to you like dialogue, we can get there quicker. But whatever works for you. I'm just grateful you reached out.
All right. The next one here is from Candace, who says, I want to first say how much your wisdom means to me, Mark. You're the best part of Temptation Island.
Thanks, Candace. I didn't write this.
This is your alt account.
Exactly. Host Boy 2025.
Yeah. So here's my bonfire. My boyfriend and I have been together 7 years. He's truly wonderful. He's a great father, provider, lover. The list goes on forever. The issue is that he has a wandering eye for girls that we went to high school with together. He will look at these girls online every morning while I sleep. I've caught him 3 times now, and this last time really hurt. I can't get over it. I don't want to take social media away. That's unfair, and I don't want to be that partner. I just want him to stop. He said he stopped, but I don't trust him now. I can't help but think of myself as the most ugly girl ever. And the way he will obsessively look at one girl every day hurts. Then he gets caught and does it again. I don't want to leave, but how do I get him to just stop looking or just want me? Candace,
feeling you so deeply. You guys, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into this, Candace. First of all, I've heard you say, I don't want to be that girl who takes social media away. I don't know how to get him to stop. Candace, not your job. And you can never make someone do something. Right? Jubilee, you're shaking your head. You agree?
Yeah, you can't make someone do anything, and if he has a wandering eye, like, it's not your fault, and it's not your, like, it is your problem in a way if it makes you feel bad about yourself, but there's no way for you to stop it.
Let's talk about feeling bad about yourself. Kaylin, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that there seems to be a bit of a difference here. And like, okay, you have a wandering eye, that's one thing. You're looking at girls on Instagram, that's one thing. But this seems to be very specific about people that they went to high school with. Yeah, so this seems to be
it's like his bucket list girls that.
This one feels different.
Yeah, no, it's disturbing because there's not an easy answer here. But what I want to deal with is Candace's well-being first. Then I'll try to find some action. That's not going to be pretty, but we'll try to find some tool you can use or some action to take. But first of all, his behavior, it's too easy for us to project that on ourselves and make it have meaning. So his wandering eye, his scrolling through past girls from high school, is making you feel less desirable and less ugly. Okay, that's not a truth unless you say it is. And as I say that to you, I know it's nearly impossible for anyone to actualize what I'm saying to you, but it's important as we go through this life that not everybody's going to approve of everything we do. We have to look in the mirror and we have to say out loud what we say we are. I am loved. I am lovable. I'm love-able. I'm beautiful. There's nothing here that's not desirable. Okay? Because it starts there. You can't change him. You're not going to be able to say, all right, I'm taking social media away. He's not 10 years old. And by the way, the 10-year-old will go in the room and find another way to do it. All right? So that's not going to happen. And him making you feel undesirable, I get it. It's natural, but you don't have to have that be his story, your story, because it may be his story. Okay? Now, I don't know how to handle it because it sounds like it's chronic and it isn't good. I mean, we don't, I guess we can give some space for that. You know, if you're going to go to Temptation Island, that there's temptation everywhere and we can indulge it at whatever level, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to stray or break someone's heart. You know, people look at porn and then they still stay true to their significant others, and ideally they watch it together and then it's spicy and everybody's good. That's another episode. But
get one of those submissions.
Huh?
So let's get one of those submissions.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to happen from the free love crowd. Look, I think that this guy, this boyfriend of yours, has some unresolved issues. And I think I get worried that his scrolling could lead to action. I don't know if he's DMing. I don't know what's going on there. And what's more important is, without knowing that, there's only the suspicion of that. Very much like Temptation Island, you see a clip and then your mind goes to the theater of the mind. There's no way for you to avoid that, Candace. So I guess what I would say to do is what I say to everybody is communication. Because if you communicate clearly and thoroughly, then your action after that, you don't have to have any remorse about. So if you can communicate clearly that, look, none of us are perfect. If I see a hot guy walking down the street, I might look. This is you talking, not me.
Sure.
You might look a little bit.
I might look and then feel horrible about myself. That's like the singles reveal on Temptation Island every year. It's like, oh, God, why have I let my body go to this shit? Anyway, it's not about me. We can acknowledge that none of us are perfect, and we look at stuff and, you know, it engages our senses. But this seems, like Kaylin said, this seems specific and chronic. And when you say, I've caught him, the secrets are dangerous. So I don't really have a solution for you, Candace, except you owe it to yourself to communicate how you're feeling. Again, it's very important, you guys, when you do this, to stay on your side of the street. I feel, as opposed to pointing a finger, because as soon as you start pointing a finger, you have no dialogue. This person comes defensive, they defend, you got nothing, okay? So if you stay on your side of the street and say, you know, babe, I love you. Everything's great. I'm feeling vulnerable, hurt, undesirable. I'm feeling this, and I want to know why you continued this behavior when I've expressed this to you. I don't have a lot of hope here for you. Guys, you?
Like I said, this sounds like a different case. Yeah,
it's
sounds
one
like
thing
something
scrolling through
here.
Instagram and looking at hot bikini girls.
Right.
Okay? But people that you have known, and it's the same people every time.
And ones that you both went to high school with.
Yeah, maybe. So it's not pretty, Candace, and I guess what I'm saying to you is you need to stand with you. And what I think often happens in relationship is that there's so many things that we like that we do a scoreboard, and we say, well, he's a B-. You know, these things are great. These things suck and make me feel worthless, undesirable, ugly, and horrible. But when we go to weddings, I have a date, and that's awesome, and we have laughs. That scorecard is a dangerous trap that keeps us from getting out of a relationship that's toxic. I'm not suggesting you break up, but I think you need to have a conversation about this behavior. And if the behavior doesn't change, or if it's not couched in a situation that it's not a secret, okay, then it's time to make a change. It's time to ask the question, Candace, what do I deserve? I say this on the show all the time. If I were to fantasize about a love relationship, what would that look like? And how does that compare to the one I'm in? And do I deserve this one, or must I acquiesce to this one? And you know how I feel. You always deserve this one. If you can define it, you can have it. But you have to stand with yourself to have it. Afterthoughts, kids?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I was thinking, which is probably not very helpful, is that it sounds like this might be like kind of either both of their first. I mean, they said they got together in high school, or they went to high school and then they got together. So there might not be a lot of experience between the two of them and having a lot of partners. So maybe he's kind of in a stage of like, oh, kind of fantasizing about a what if of having more partners. I'm not that experienced. That sort of thing.
Like, we see this on Love is Blind a lot. You know, I never saw the other girls, and now I see them, and blah blah. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's a good point to bring up, is that inexperience, you know, might be part of this. Yeah, I just think you got to talk about it in a non-confrontational way, and then you got to make a decision if you can live with it. Because I don't think it's realistic to think that you're going to change his behavior. It's just, he may change his behavior out of love or growth if you give him space and a little nudge, but I don't think we can make an ultimatum of any kind ever that gets met with anything other than resentment. So don't do that. And then I wish you the best. Let us know how it works out, Candace. I don't know if I was a lot of help there, except the takeaway I want for you is that his behavior does not define your worth. Okay, that's never the case. And if it's not working, even though everything else may be working, if this isn't working, it needs to be addressed. Often, professional therapeutic help will help here, right? And if you can address it without shaming him, you got a chance. Okay?
Well
Good
said.
luck. Next one.
Thank you, Candace, for writing in. The next one here. My name is Brooke, and I will be 26 years old next month. I'm happily married and have a 4-year-old son. Me and my biological mother have not gotten along since I was 14 years old, and my dad got custody of me. She has had a hatred for my dad as long as I can remember. It really puts strain on our relationship because I love my dad more than anything. She's just jealous she's not with him. Recently, there was some family drama that went on, and I really told her about herself. As expected, she did not like that. I don't blame her for what I said. I told her I do not want a relationship with her. I told her that I have tolerated her for all these years for the sake of having a relationship with my grandmother, who she took care of, and having a relationship with my sister, who just turned 14. I really would love to have a relationship with my sister, but my mom stands in the way of that. Because I will not talk to her, she is threatening getting a restraining order against me. I'm sure that does not make sense to you because it honestly doesn't make sense to me.
But okay.
Yeah. Because I will not speak to her, she is threatening to get a restraining order against me. She continues to try to reach out. I'm just not quite sure how to navigate this relationship with my siblings. My older brother, who we share the same mom, is very supportive in all of my choices, even though he makes different choices than I do. But my sister, who is 14, so badly needs me.
I love this letter. There's a lot to unpack.
It's a little heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yes, it's heartbreaking. What's her name?
Brooke.
Brooke. Listen to me. There's so much hope for this if you're brave enough to go where I'm going to tell you to go. First of all, I acknowledge the pain here, the abandonment by your mother, the upset, and not abandonment, but the upset of her hatred or resentment towards your father, who you're close with, has now put a fracture that you have no relationship with her. And now you have siblings that are affected that you can't have a relationship with because she's in the way. I get it. I get it. The restraining order doesn't seem to make sense to you, but it does make sense to me. So, I'm going to talk to you about forgiveness. And this is a bitter pill to swallow when you're in it. But we don't forgive other people for them. We forgive other people for us. Just like I was talking about before with Candace, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last one.
We can't control other people. Your mom is going to have resentment towards your dad until she goes to her grave, hopefully no time soon. The effect it has on you, you have some control over. So your mom, let's just break this down. You say, I don't want to have anything to do with you, and you've ceased to talk to her. And her response to that is to take out a restraining order. That's a cry for help. That's your mother not knowing how to be intimate with you, and whether she knows it or not, her heart is broken that she has no relationship with you. Because she has a relationship with your brother and your half-sister or sister, the 14-year-old. Okay,
It's the other way around, sister and half-brother.
Sister and half-brother, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But she somehow has a relationship with them, doesn't have a relationship with you. You're the oldest, it sounds like. You're married, you have a kid. There's a grandchild involved. This is a sad situation. And I'm only getting what I can get from what you've written, but it sounds like your mom has anger and resentment that you say is because of her hatred of your father and your closeness to your father. So now it's being projected upon you. We can't call somebody up and say, you got some intimacy issues, and that's not the truth. You're angry at me, but the truth is you love me and you miss me and you just want me back in your life. That's not going to work. But what might work is for you to forgive your mom for what she can't do yet. It's so difficult. It's so difficult, especially with the mother-daughter relationship. Mother or anybody relationship, because we want them to be the one place we can go to when everything's hurting, right? But she's not capable right now. But the reason I say forgiveness is for you is that you're carrying this burden of her broken relationship with you. And you say, I don't fucking want any relationship with her, but she's in the way of my younger sister, okay? All right. So you need to have a relationship with her, or at least a détente, a stopping of the war. And I call this an agreement of intimacy. I've talked about it before. You've heard me say it. You may have made a clip about it. I don't know.
Yes.
But somebody's got to go first. And maybe it looks like this. And you've probably... I can hear you saying, I've tried this before. She's unresponsive. I tried it. Well, have you tried it unconditionally or conditionally? If you've tried to build a bridge because I want my mom not to be an asshole and I wanted to see my sister and all that, that's a conditional bridge. What I'm asking you to do is take the backpack of burden and resentment and sadness off of you. Not her. We can't control that. So getting to this place, you're going to have to meditate to get here is going, and it may not get you closer to your sister, but to have a communication with your mom saying, look, I acknowledge everything you've said about how you feel. I acknowledge everything you say about me, my father. It's your truth, and I acknowledge it. I want to let you know that you're my mom. I may not like you, but I love you, and I forgive you. Now, can you do that without needing to receive an expectation? Because you won't. But if you do that for you unconditionally, you'll have peace. I don't know the outcome of how you're going to be able to talk to your sister more, but I know that the only way that that's a possibility is for you to go first in an agreement of intimacy. Mom, let me put it to you this way. I had some upset in my own life with my own family. We've talked about it a little bit here or whatever. At some point, here's what happens when you have a fracture. You keep score. I didn't do anything, she did this. Who's right, who's wrong? And what you think will resolve it is for us both to come to an agreement of who was right and wrong. But all that does is king of the hill. I was right, you were wrong. So whoever's wrong needs to avenge that, and then that's where you're at. This is the phrase I used in my own life to the family member I had a problem with. Starting today, everything that I've done to you and everything you've done to me, all the for instances, all the episodes, I wipe it away. Clear slate. We can't fix it. We can't fix the things I did wrong. You can't make good for me the things that I feel you did wrong. But what I can do is, and you don't have to join me here, but starting today, there's no mention of the past. I forgive everything you did from childhood to this morning. Okay? I forgive it. Because what I want to do is commit to an intention of us starting a new relationship that's not predicated on what was our old relationship, starting today. And if it looks like, hey, how's the weather where you are? And that's all we got, that's all we need. For my dad and me, we've had a great relationship. I love my dad, but there were times where, whatever. We do Wordle every morning and text each other our Wordle. That's a relationship. So there's a conversation I think you need to have with your mom, which doesn't point any fingers at her. If you can do this, you might have to take notes, where you say, Mom, regardless of our relationship, I forgive you and I love you. And I'd like to keep open a door where we have some sort of relationship. I don't know what it is, but it's going to start today because everything that happened before today isn't working for me. But I acknowledge you for bringing me in this world. I love you and I forgive you. And again, you don't say this for her, you say it for you. And my only hope is that moves something around, that if you can keep reminding yourself this isn't about you, and if you can remind yourself that forgiveness is for you and it doesn't get validated by them going, I accept your apology, or thank you for, or what they'll normally say is, forgive me? Fuck you. You should be asking for my forgiveness. When you're met with this, that's where you smile and go, I love you. And you're right. I apologize for anything I've done to hurt you. If my relationship with my dad made you feel like I didn't love you, I apologize. This is a big pill for you to swallow.
It's a big pill just to even hear, because it sounds like she does love her dad more than anything.
Well, her dad's been there for her.
Right, exactly. And, you know, if she is able to come to this table of like, let's start over, let's do this, well, it sounds like her mom is just going to keep talking shit about her dad. So how she deals with that, whether it's, I'm going to set a boundary here, do not say this, which she'll probably just cross over that line, or just don't respond. Let her talk her shit and just...
Here's the thing about that. Her resentment with your father is not yours. Her resentment to you is because you're closer to the father, and that she can't admit that she wishes she had that with you. I'm guessing. Again, I'm a game show host. Call a therapist. They'll know the truth. But in this forgiveness exercise, she's still going to talk shit about your father. You get to be an adult and choose to go, thank you for sharing. Because her resentment towards him is not yours. You can have the relationship with your father, and you can assure your mom that it is separate. It has nothing to do with us. And she can have that feeling of resentment, and you're just going to have to, if you want to have a relationship, you're going to have to accept the warts and all in relationship. I have people in my life that I love, that I would jump in front of a bullet for. I'll be late because I don't really want the bullet, but I want it to look like I tried to help. Joke. But they still hold on to grudges that have no use in my life. They bring it up all the time. Can't stop talking about it, pointing a finger, making other people wrong, and it's toxic. We don't get to choose who the other people we're in a relationship with. And with friends, we can just say, fuck it, I'm not your friend anymore. But with family, they don't go away. So your choice is estrangement, which you have now, keeping you from other people you love and making you very upset, or relationship, which will be imperfect and sting from time to time, but there's possibility. I mean, that's all I got for you. Jubilee, you've got parents and step-parents.
Yep.
You've got step-siblings. This is me saying all of your shit without you having permission for me to say it.
No, you're good.
But does anything of this land, any advice you have or any feelings you have from a much younger, hipper point of view?
I mean, yeah, a lot of the stuff that Brooke is saying is going on. I can relate to some of it, and I see that. And then your advice, I'm like reflecting on it and what I've done in this situation. And it is honestly true. Like, you can, a lot of the times people, they just want to hear you say a certain thing, even if it's not true. You don't have to actually be sorry. But if you say that to her, then you can kind of fix what's going on, or just some kind of forgiveness. And I think it's also important to remember, that I remind myself a lot, is that this is everybody's first time living life. Like, your
that's
mom.
Great. I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's everybody's first time doing this.
Yeah.
Wow, that just like...
Yeah, so your mom was your age at some point, and she made mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Not everybody's going to be perfect, but you have to learn from those mistakes to keep living your life until it's over.
I just got choked up by that phrase. She has a 4-year-old child, I think.
Yes.
Right. So
Son.
think about who you want to be as a mom to this child. And if you have trouble finding forgiveness, you can look at thank you, my mom. Thank you, Mom, for showing me how to be the mom I want to be. And that's not a thank you, Mom. That's truly what Jubilee said. It's her first time, too. She didn't want to have a divorce with your father. Her heart is broken in many pieces if she were to be able to get off her. And by the way, the emotion easiest to process is anger and resentment. It makes us feel powerful. So in the darkest moments of your mom's quiet times is heartbreak. You see anger, resentment, estrangement. But behind anger, those aren't real. Anger isn't a real thing. Heartbreak's a real thing. When I said you need to forgive without being attached, unconditional forgiveness, if you can't find a way in, Jubilee gave you the way in. It's your first time, and it's your mom's first time doing this whole human thing. None of us get it right. Okay, that was great, Jubilee. Wow.
There was also one more thing I just wanted to touch on what Jubilee said when you talk about apologizing and saying sorry, even if you don't really mean it. Like, there's a lot of people out there that are like, you need to apologize. You need to say sorry. And sometimes you just got to go, okay, I'm sorry. Like, even if you don't really mean it, those kind of people that demand that apology from you, it seems like if you just say like, okay, I'm sorry, then, it's not as genuine. I have a little trouble with
not meaning it, but I agree with, here's what Robbie says. You know Robbie very well.
Love Robbie.
It takes two to play catch. Don't catch the football. So when they go, you need to apologize, you can say, no, I don't. You need to apologize. Or you can just let it go to the ground and go, okay. You don't even have to apologize. You just have to say, I acknowledge that you feel that way, which is kind of a bullshit phrase. But you can stay clear on your truth without engaging in this, because nothing good comes from this. It's an impossibility. It's if you're either dominating somebody or being dominated by somebody. When we're in neither of those states, we're accepting them as they are. So you have to ask yourself, am I trying to dominate, or am I allowing her to dominate me? And then make an adjustment of acceptance. This is her shit, not mine. I have to remember I love her even in her swirl of... Look, in alcoholic relationships, when they're drinking and you're in relationship with them, you can either try to make them stop drinking, have your heart broken every time they show up and are mean to you, or you can do what Al-Anon teaches, which is detach with love and hope they get what they need. Okay? So it's not apologizing you don't mean it. It's accept where they're at without any attachment to them demanding an apology for you and deciding whether you want to catch the football or not. I think we're good there. Yeah. Do we have more? Because
we do have a couple more, but we're out of time right now.
Let's save those for another episode.
Yeah, we're going to save those for another episode. Thank you to everyone writing in. Again, if you want to send in your submissions, you can send it to bonfiretalkspodcast@gmail.com or just DM us on Instagram at bonfiretalkspodcast. And we'll get to these ones that we haven't got to next time. And hopefully we get some more submissions from you. Just keep them short.
Yeah, get a little bit short because I don't keep anything short. But, one of the things I love about you guys and I cherish is how I get so many messages saying how I'm dropping truth bombs here and dropping truth bombs there. I'm going to leave this episode with the truth bomb that was dropped. And it wasn't mine. It's our first time doing this. It's so powerful. It is the door that opens for forgiveness and acceptance of behavior that seems toxic. We keep trying to think, how can they not understand my pain? Why aren't they doing better? Because it's their first time. And we're not done. And we're not done. Your mom's first time, this relationship has taken this form this whole time until we decide to change it. And it comes from, I forgive you because it's your first time. How would you know? Right? Really great, Jubilee. You're silent most of the time. When you speak, I can barely hear you. But then you drop just gold.
Silent observer.
You're an observer, a quiet observer. All right, Kaylin, thank you so much for your input too, buddy. I think it's good for our relationship. And hey, thank you for letting us do this. If this works for you, we'll do more of them. It certainly works for me. I'm kind of in this vibe all the time. And so really honored that you've asked for my opinion. Let me just leave you by saying all of you who have relationship issues and family issues and stuff, there's help for you. Professional help. It's affordable. I always urge you to find an LMFT or some licensed counselor, somebody to help you work through your problems. You can work through more than you think. The mountain gets smaller when you run to it, not away from it. So that's it. Bonfire Talks with me. Again, I search for a way to end our episodes. What was the one you said?
Thanks for coming to the bonfire.
Wow. Again, so simple. Thanks for coming to the bonfire. But I don't know if that's going to be my signature thing. I want something catchy.
We're workshopping it.
We're workshopping it. It's if you got an idea, I don't know. Bye.